a sunset silhouette.
It's our time with Mr. Mayberry. Hey, let's get creative.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Mayberry.
Today we're going to take the sunset that we made last week and add a silhouette. Just like you saw in the opening, a silhouette is a shadowy outline that's created when there's a strong light behind an object. So let's get started. It's time to make some art. Okay, for this project you're going to need the sunset that we painted last week. We'll also need a piece of black construction paper. We'll need a pair of scissors and some glue. Okay, to start off with, now last week we painted the picture with the yellow at the top and the red at the bottom, and you could still use it this way if you'd like, but after studying several pictures of sunsets, I've decided I want to go ahead and put the yellow at the bottom. Now I've seen sunsets where the yellow, it looks yellower down below and red up above or pink up above, and I've seen them the other way as well, but this is the way I've chosen to have my picture. Okay, so this is the way I'm going to have it. The next step, or the first step then actually for this week, is to take the black construction paper and we're going to cut off a piece here at the bottom lengthwise, just kind of a wavy piece all the way across. So I'm going to cut that off, and I've not drawn it ahead of time. You can if you'd like. You might even use a white crayon to draw, but I'm just kind of cutting this freehand, and that's what I'm going to use. So this is going to be the ground on our picture. So don't glue it down just yet. I want to do something else before we do that, but this will be the ground. Okay, looks pretty cool already. Now I'm going to make what I'm going to do is build some trees that stand up. And now there's different ways you could do this. You could make it look like the trees are farther away and make them smaller, but the trees I'm going to do are all going to be close up. So I'm going to make them go from the ground all the way off the top of the paper. Now I could use just the remainder of the paper this way and cut off pieces for what I'm going to do, but because they're going to be shorter and they may not reach the top the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and keep cutting pieces off lengthwise, and then I'm going to build the trees with that. So what I want to do then, I'm going to make these look like they're a little bit wider at the bottom, and then they get skinnier as they go up. And I'm only going to do, I don't know, for this, just to show you, I'll probably do 2 or 3 trees. You could do as many as you would like. There's one piece off. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the paper around the other way, because then this side will be wider at the bottom because the way I slanted the last one. And I'm going to cut it, make it get narrower. So I'm making tree trunks right now. These are going to be tree trunks, and then partly I will use for branches as well. I think I'll do one more. Again, I'm going to turn it back around this direction and cut from this direction, and a little bit wider on this one than I did the other ones. So right now I'm building tree trunks. We should get enough pieces out of this one piece of construction paper to do all of our trees. But okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll put these right here. I'm just going to kind of lay out where everything is going to go, and then I'll trim it up as we go. But I'm going to have these pieces go behind the hill here in just a minute, and then they're going to go off the top of the page. And I think just to make things a little more interesting, I'm going to put the ones on the right a little closer together. Okay, you notice how they're sticking off the top. That's okay, because after we glue these down, I'll trim that off so you won't even be able to tell. Next, I want to go ahead and add some branches to these branches. So I'm going to turn the paper around once again. It's wider here, and it's going to get skinnier. Now I'm going to make the branches go from wide to skinny, but they will not be as thick as the tree trunk to start with. Okay, so there's one piece. I'm going to cut a few of these while I'm at it. I think I'll flip it over this way this time. So what we're going to be doing is building trees without leaves, just like you would see in the fall. The fall, for some reason, just maybe the way the atmosphere is, it seems like the colors are always really pretty in the fall. And because of the leaves not being on the trees, you get all these wonderful silhouettes of trees and outside, and so it's just a beautiful thing to see. So that's what we're building here. Okay, I've got several pieces now that I've cut for branches, and then what I can do is I'll trim these off and then add those to our picture. So let's see, I think even though I cut them pretty wide, I think I want to make, I'll just cut these in half this way, and let's see what we can do. Alright, I'm going to put one, oh, this is another branch here. Let's take that off. I may leave that one like it is. Let's put it across. I think I'll go across like that. And then here on the side, let's see. Let's put this one going up this direction. And let's see. I think I can even cut these down a little bit. Yeah, let's see. I'll make this one go off of here. And I think I'll put this one off of this tree. So you can see we're going to build some layers. Here's what we're going to do. And then the little ones, I'll actually cut off the ends of these, make them smaller. And I'll put branches off of my branches. It may get confusing. Okay, let's put one here and one here. Yeah, nope, don't want that there. So this is where you're going to have to make some decisions about where you would like to put things. Alright. Let's make this one lower since I can. Or no, actually a different angle. How about that? Okay, let's put this, I'm going to put this over here. This one here, like that. Okay. Alright, once you get them decided where you want them, once you figure out where you want them, then you'll just have to glue each of these down. And what I would do, again, is when you glue things down, you want to put the glue on the back of the object that you're gluing, either dots or thin lines, and then put it down on your paper. Don't try to put the glue on the paper first and then cover it up with the object, because then most of the time you will end up missing the glue, and it'll squish out away from you and make a big mess. So put it on the back of the pieces that you're going to glue down. And then on this picture, what I said about the base here, what I would do is put your trees down, all the trees first, and then glue your base on top of that. Okay, I'm going to take a short break and put this together, and then I'll come back when I have it put together and show you what I've done. Okay, as you can see, I've got all my branches and trees, trunks, and I got everything glued down. And the way I did that was I started by gluing down the smallest branches first, and then stacking the next size on top of that, and then the tree trunk on top of that. So I built the branches out, or the tree out, starting with the small branches to the biggest piece, which was the trunk. And so everyone's going to look a little bit different, and that's up to you, the kind of choices you make as far as how many trees you include. You may want to make 3 or 4, or you may just want to make 1 with branches going off both sides. But the same principles followed as far as the tree trunks are wide at the bottom, skinny at the top, and the same with the branches. They start wide at the base and get smaller as they go out. And then tree trunk is the largest, the next branch up or limb is a little bit smaller, and then the next branch up is smaller than that. So go ahead and stack those out, glue them out, and then next what we're going to do, we're going to add the ground, and I've put small dots and thin lines with my glue. That's really the best way to glue when you glue something. If you use a lot of glue on there, you don't want to squirt out half the bottle because it just makes a big mess and it's wasteful. So just use small dots and thin lines. After you have the glue on there, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to line this up at the base, at the bottom, Try to get the edges lined up good. And then we'll press that down. And then the last step with this is to go, and I have all these pieces that stick out past the end, they extend past the end. So I'm going to trim the trees. I'm going to cut off all the pieces that are sticking out past the end. You could leave them sticking out if you wanted to have more of a 3D effect where it's coming so large they're coming off the trees, off the paper. They've grown off the paper, and you could make it look like they're coming out into space above the paper. But for this, what I like to do is I'm going to trim them along the edge of my sunset, off the edge of the paper here, so that all the pieces are nice and even with the edge. Okay, and clean off my workspace. And then here is our project for today, a sunset silhouette. Well, that's all for today. If you'd like to show me the fall sunset that you made, just paste it in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Goodbye, Mr. Mayberry.
Good dog.